Well, as you've heard, we've already had a clusterfuck this morning. And I'm profoundly grateful for everybody who's attempted to fix it. So I'm so sorry for the 100 people that are on Zoom right now who are wondering what the hell's going on. So, but we're going to proceed. I want to make sure that, is Bod in the room or Dave?
No, she's not there.
Okay. Do we know whether it's being recorded right now, for sure? Let's make sure it's being recorded for the people. This is being recorded. Awesome. Okay. I just want to eat you all. Okay. So, yeah. One of the things, is that better? You will know is that I'm having a difficult time speaking. And this is going to take just about everything I have. And I haven't spoken much for a day and a half so that I could speak. But by the end of the time today, I will have nothing. So I just want to explain that when I get have emotion, everything shuts down, totally. So this is a practice where we'll have to be very, very patient with me and with each other. Are we back on?
No.
And no. Okay. But we are recording.
Yes.
Okay, great. You have to be very patient because my whole system has to let go before it comes back online again when I can speak. And I have a lot of emotion. So both in laughter and in tears, I can't, it shuts down. There's something so perfect about this clusterfuck on this talk, and that there's something so perfect about, for all of us, but I'll say for myself, dying is a process of such letting go. And as much as we might want something to happen, it doesn't happen like we want. And that's so okay. I was going to say this later, but I won't say it now. The 5 words that I am living by right now are relaxed, open, playful, curious, and loving. And so let's bring that to this. I'll speak those words again. This is a poignant talk for me because this is my final in-person talk that I will most likely ever give. And it seems fitting that this talk is about death. And I need to end, and I will speak about this soon, in a very elegant and crisp way, even though I may long to continue teaching. But I'll explain why later. So I want to dive deeper into the topic of death so we can cry about it and laugh about it and wonder about it and be mystified by it, and to have this sense of the ritual, the rite of passage about death. I want to talk about what is it to have a spiritual life. But we'll see how much my voice lasts. I really want my death to be a benefit, and the process of my death to be a benefit. May you find more peace around your own death. May you be helpful to somebody else who is dying. May, if anything can come from this, may you love more fully and live more presently with abandon, because you're acknowledging and being with and celebrating your own death. So let's just open our hearts and really feel this sense of, may whatever comes of today be a benefit for all beings. Just send that out to all the ecosystems of the world and beyond. And so we'll begin with a meditation, because if I did nothing and we just sat together, that would be the best thing that we could do. If you would, for now, some of you may have an established meditation practice in some form. If you could just drop other techniques and just hang with me through this. And I'm guiding, and why I guide in these situations is because hopefully you were sitting in silence a lot without me. And so this is a way to help you to guide in your other sittings that you do, to bring life and some opening and understanding to your own sittings. So go ahead and just close your eyes and find a upright position so your spine is straight, and really connect your pelvic floor to your cushion or your chair. So you really feel the earth underneath you. Those who are struggling with hearing in the back, if you need to come and sit in this chair, feel free. If you're struggling hearing back there, you could come sit in that chair. Okay, so just letting your eyes close, and I've spoken about this before, but I want to bring it in again. The more we try to make everything okay, the more we try to get enough, if we meditate enough, make ourselves good enough somehow, trying to secure enough, thinking that everything will be okay. I want to remind you that it will never be okay. This is just the nature of life from an egoic standpoint. It will never be okay. And that is precisely the beauty of the spiritual journey. That is the spiritual journey, is how do we flow with life as it is. We don't want to try to make it okay. There's no room in that. There's no air. Because sooner or later, something will happen that you cannot control. The mishap lineage, as I have said. So right there in that heartbroken, scared, confused, in-between place is where the spiritual life has juice, has life. It's where our hearts can open. Life is always in transition. It is always in flow. So right now, as we begin, let yourself feel the in-between state, the wobble, whatever's happening right here or in your life, the unknowing. Just let yourself sense that. Feel it without the story. Just feel it in your body right now. How does it feel energetically and in your chest? It might be kind of bubbly or Don't label it, just notice right now. And then begin to just let your diaphragm relax as if it was moving like a jellyfish in warm water as it flows up and down. And let your body relax with the flow of your diaphragm. Get so curious about the flow of the breath. And let your hips and your pelvis relax. Let your face relax. And let your awareness just drop into your low belly, sensing how your body shifts and moves with the breath in your low belly. Have this general sense of your body and a general sense of the environment around you while resting in your low belly. And every time you go away, get distracted, no worries. Just come back to your low belly and the sense of your breath. There's just general sense of your body sitting here. But drop the labeling, the commentary. Just sensing through sense perception. Let go. Let go. If you get distracted, there's probably a sense of the in-between state. Just let yourself feel that, sense that, and let go. Let it arise and pass away. You are whole. Everything around you, the environment, is whole and complete. Everybody and everything is okay in the face of it not being okay. We are all okay. Let go. Are you available right in this moment? And we cannot think our way into becoming available. We have to empty ourselves. Letting go. So just holding this poignant pose for a moment with each other. In this moment, I'm going to say those 5 words as we just hold this in this intimacy with one another. Relaxed, open. Relax your brain right now to open. Nothing to figure out. Peripheral gaze, even though your eyes may be closed. Playful. Give it all up, guys. Don't take it so seriously. Curious. Loving. Open your heart. So I will begin again with my own experience of dying. I feel the greatest benefit comes from my own transparency. Even though it's very vulnerable and can feel quite narcissistic, I've been told that it's helpful. But only if you relate what I say to your own life and to your own death. And each one of these things I speak about, I could literally do a day's worth of teaching on, so these are tidbits. But I hope that these tidbits are of benefit. So I could spend hours describing what it's like to physically have ALS at this point. But I'm a lot more interested in sharing the psycho-spiritual aspect of my experience. But in short, I'll just say, physically, that everything is exhausting because my muscles are not working, and my nerves are dying. So to walk is like a marathon. But I can eat everything. There's quite a bit more anxiety and nervous system imbalance because the nerves are fraying and dying. And it's all quite fascinating to me and very challenging physically and very exhausting, and I don't resist it at all. So, enough. I could go on and on. It's very hard to be losing my ability to speak. Heartbreaking. I was given the gift as a translator from when I was born, a translator of difficult to understand concepts. I started teaching writing when I was 9 years old and had a knack for it because I was able to translate difficult things, concepts to people about horses and riding. That turned into the last 35 years of being able to translate spiritual concepts. And I became a bridge between the worlds in that. And that's been my gift that I have needed and wanted to give to the world. And it's how I served. And I have found that I am constantly translating the Dharma in my head. And how, when I experience something, I am constantly, how can I teach that? I now need to meet the Dharma nakedly. Which means that I have to drop the role of the teacher. So as my time as a therapist and teacher and the film project comes to an end, as my body gives up more and more and I move closer to my own death, I'm needed now more on the other side of the bridge. I feel this great calling that I'm needed by God now more than the world. And that's where all my attention needs to go. I see that I am identified some with being a teacher, and that makes me not fully available to the mystery. It's imperative. And I can feel my longing to keep teaching as it's incredibly fulfilling and very safe. And because I feel like right now I have the most clear and concise Dharma to give. And that's why I've decided to stop teaching before I might have to. I have to face the mystery just naked and vulnerable. Unknowing. I can't be translating. So I have to close the exits, as we all do, with everything. If you really want your spiritual life, you have to keep closing the exits of how you numb out and how you dissociate. So I'm pulling away from the world, and my time with most of you is over. And with those of you very close in, our time is very limited. This is going to take forever. I love your reach, your love notes, your offering to help, your musings, please keep them up. But don't expect to see me or get a response. But know that your love and your support and offerings are very helpful and important. For some reason, I'm very drawn to the word God. It's a really short word. And for some reason, it's really important for me because I feel a sense of no separation. So if I'm saying God, I'm saying the mystery, spirit. I feel the presence that I am that, but I am also in relationship with that. So there is no duality, and there also is I and thou. And that is, I cannot put that relationship into a box. I have to let that flow, because that sense of that I'm God in drag, and I'm deeply in relationship with God. Does this make sense? And that I and other is profoundly important right now for me. There's so much I want to say about everything I'm saying, but this is a download. I do not feel any need to gather more experiences. And that's deeply freeing and relaxing. But I think it is our nature as humans, with our intense curiosity, to gather experiences. It's how we learn. And it can also be a way that we anesthetize ourselves through our addiction to trying to fill the hole that we experience inside, to feel worthy, enough, satisfied. We have to be profoundly careful when it is curiosity and learning versus when we are gathering to try to fill an impossibly unfillable hole. It is a very fine line. I have no regrets about my life. So the letting go of the need to gather frees me to experience the experiences I had and the experience that I'm having right in this second. If I was regretting, it would be very painful. Don't regret your life. I suggest looking at what is driving your desire for more experience, more whatever, travel, job, feelings, sex, exercise, beauty, I don't know what it is. But to look careful at that drive that's underneath. And then let yourself actually tend to the uncomfortable, shaky feeling of the whole that is not there. But to let yourself actually give yourself the gift of tending to that uncomfortable feeling that I think is the human experience to a certain degree. More and more I experience death as a friend, because it is what creates gratitude, poignancy, love, presence, sorrow, nowness, because everything will end. Your loved ones will die, you will die, and we become incredibly lackadaisical when we are not remembering that death is close. And when we forget that, that everything we end, we become dull. We take life for granted. I am seeing that as a human, we tend to let go when we have to, and often there are claw marks with blood and fingernails on the wall and on the carpet and the ground as we're hauled off, trying to not let go. And we're often forced to let go. If we can do some prior listening, it's incredibly helpful, but I work consciously with letting go of things daily. My way, my grip, expectations. But really, I don't think we let go until we have to. And some things are easy, but I just know that there's some things in me that will not let go until I have to. And I'm seeing it because there are things I have had to let go of so far, and they just let go. But if I had to let go of that thing before I was forced to, John. So knowing that, I don't fight the part that is hanging on. There are certain things that I still want, and that is, I know I will have to let go, and I'm trying to have as much grace about those things that I don't want to let go of yet. Life is flow, as I was saying. It's like a wave in an ocean. It's like our thoughts, our bodies, the tree, the computer. It is like a wave that arises and goes back into the ocean. And if we try to hold on to that wave, we get just pummeled. So everything, all waves arise and pass away. And it's like space. If space is also the ocean, space is what holds life together. Space is what is creating the form of my body and your body right now. If there was not space, there would be no form. Does that make sense? If you look at me or you look at the tree outside, those forms, this form, your form, that form, is created from the same space, the same ocean. That space is holding you intimately together. You could never be separate. Does that make sense? This is such an important concept. We think we stand alone. But that form that is arising as a tree or as this body is arising like a wave in the vast space and ocean of reality. But there is literally something that is here in this space. Just sense it right now. You could not, your form could not be here without space creating the form and intimately keeping you connected, magnetized to the form, every other form in the entire universe, the cosmos. You could never, ever be separate. Does this make sense? It's so important because we think we stand so alone. And in my stage of my dying, this is profoundly comforting. Profoundly comforting. And I want it to be for all of you that comfort. Because if I move, space moves and everything moves with me. I can't move without affecting the space and the form, the wave and the ocean. This arising and passing of the form is flow, right? That is flow. It's like the waterfall going over the edge. There is nothing that remains. It's always in transition. The ocean is constantly creating waves, constantly. That is as it should be. We are a temporary wave, but we are never separate from the ocean. To stay in that flow, we have to feel what we don't want to feel, because a feeling is a wave. When the wave arises, if we try to hang on or resist the wave, we are suffering. And because we're so often unwilling to feel what we don't want to feel, I think as a culture, the feeling I have as a culture is that we've lost our soul some. We've lost our imagination, because to stay in flow, we have to be relaxed, open, playful, curious, and loving. That is how we have to meet reality, or we suffer. We have become too domesticated. And I really believe that it is primarily because we are afraid to fully feel our lives, which includes sorrow, a lot of it, over and over and over. It is part of the human condition. So we numb ourselves, unable anymore to feel intimate with life, you, raven, creek, lightning, coyote. Because we don't want to tolerate the in-between, the state of the not knowing, the state of shaky, the state of heartbreak. Let me tell you what it is like to be here now. And I can feel in myself the pull at times to check out. But when I turn my face into experience fully, no matter how uncomfortable, it is the most direct way to God. Vitality, unknown, freedom from my small mind. I often say, penetrate experience, neutralize emotion. And what I mean by that is the more we penetrate experience fully, not with our thoughts, but with our sense perception fully, the emotion neutralizes and we're left as God. And that I'm aware of that initial feeling of resistance. It is so subtle. It is unconscious. It's that where we just want to turn away because it is painful, forgetting that when we penetrate it, then we become, that is the portal. But instead, when we turn away, we just stay in this dissatisfied, uncomfortable, unconnected. And there is so much intimacy between grief and aliveness. There's some sacred exchange between what seems totally unbearable and what is most exquisitely alive. And it takes outrageous courage to face outrageous loss. And it is so outrageous to know that everything you love, you will lose. Everything. So find out what you are not willing to feel. I'm going to say it again and again. I see it in people all day long. I see it in their face. Because there's so much we don't want to feel. The loss of our environment, of this sweet world. The loss of our loved ones, the political strife, the loss of our culture, the loss of our soul in ourselves and in our culture. Our own dying, our old age, sickness, and death. It is heartbreaking. And in that heartbreak, it fucking rocks. Everybody still with me? Apparently I have a lot to say before I can't. I'm experiencing clearly the difference between the soul and the witness. The witness being the neutral observer. It's like a step to the soul. Right? The neutral observer that can witness our thinking and our thoughts and our feelings. Yes? Everybody understand? The neutral observer is the first observer into the primordial mind. It is not the soul, but it is the way in that we experience the soul. Is this making me look really dorky? Because you know it's not how you feel, it's how you look. Oh, thank you. So it's a way, part of the way to experience the soul. We have to have an incredibly strong witness to penetrate the soul. That's why I teach so often about make sure you have a strong witness that can witness and not be so caught in your story. You have to be able to witness that there is a story, a wave that is arising. Because if you're caught in the story, you will not experience fully the soul. Because you will be taken by the story over and over. And I'm saying this because I am so fascinated in dying fully connected in my soulfulness. And I know that to do that, I have to sit and be very conscious of the observer. So that there's a way that I then can, when the door opens, man, I can step through all of you. If we're not observing what's happening, the humanness of our experience, we will get caught by our humanness and miss our life. Don't miss your life. Be aware enough that there's a lot of stuff going on, and it is a fingernail scratch of reality. A fingernail scratch. Life is a brief stop between two mysteries. And it is not what you think. I promise you, I know that with my whole being. It is not, this life is not what you think. That is comes from a very small mind, a beautiful mind, a necessary mind, a mind that we don't ever want to get rid of. But the mind cannot comprehend, that mind cannot comprehend the mystery. It cannot comprehend the totality. We do not create consciousness with the mind. We try over and over with the small mind, and what we do is we take the past, and we keep trying to overlay the past onto this vast reality, and we are only seeing what we know. And we know so little. What we know is fabulous, but we know so little. We have to empty ourselves to fully be able to understand, to get a glimpse of God. We can't work our way there through the small mind and be availing ourselves to the mystery. How do we do that? We do that through this sense of emptying. And there's so much I could say about that. It's a practice in itself, but it's about emptying and actually staying in not knowing. We have to stay in not knowing to be in the unknown. This was a hard one for me to get, I'll just say that. In that I thought that I could think my way. My students know this. The only panic attack I've ever had in my whole life was at a Mahamudra retreat, which is working with space, a 10-day Mahamudra retreat. And I was working so damn hard to try to experience space, I had a panic attack. But I learned so beautifully in that I actually had to give up. My grief, and don't get me wrong, I have a lot of grief. But I see my grief as so vital and so necessary, just like I want you to. And I'm seeing how much courage it takes to face my life and my death. And I say that to all of you, about your own life. To stay engaged without blinking, without turning away. But I'm feeling the payoff that when I do, that I can feel this rich, painful, awe-inspiring, beautiful, terrifying, surprising, undomesticated, wild life and death. But I'll say we have to be willing to let go of our lives as we know them. We have to let the deep, ancient, primordial river take us. And we have to be willing to fall apart. As I said the other day, I feel that I am disintegrating into everything. I would like, because I'm going to save my voice, I've asked David to read some of the poems I was going to read. So I'm going to ask if you'll read the first one, the only one we'll read right now. And then I'm going to open it up to some questions. And then I'm going to go get on my ventilator for 5 minutes, ease my diaphragm, let everybody take a break. But let's let David read the process. Oh, David, take the mic.
The process. First, she gave all that she carried. Mm-hmm. We good? First, she gave all that she carried.
Hang on.
We're good for 3.
Okay.
good? All right. First, she gave all that she carried in her arms, setting those trinkets down easily. Then she removed her scarlet sash and gave it for bandage, her scarf for blindfold, her shawl, her handkerchief for shroud. She let her violet kimono slip from her shoulders, giving it too because it was warm and could surround and wrap like dusk, and because it held her dark river night swimmer fragrances tight in the deep stitches of its seams. And she cut off her hair, offering its strands for weaving, for pillow, lining, talisman, for solace. She gave her bracelets, the rings from her fingers, those circlings of gold, jingling like crickets, those loops of silver, chiming like spring, and gave her hands as well, her fingers, the way that they could particularize. Her feet and their balance, her legs and their stride she relinquished. And her belly, her thighs, her lap wide, empty, open as a prairie. Her breasts full of sunlight like peaches and honey like sucre. She gave away her bones, ribcage for scaffold, spine, smaller knuckles for kindling, for sparks, for flame. And what remained, her face, her visage, reflective, transparent as sky, she gave, and even her word, her name, its echo, until everything was given and everything received. And she was no one, gone, nothing, God.
Are there thoughts or questions that are coming up for people?
Did you write that for?
No, that's by Annie, Patty Ann. What's her last name? Get the mic.
I'm not really, it's not quite a question, but
If you could really project to
Sure,
the whole
sure.
group.
it's not quite a question, but it's something I wanted to share with you as I'm listening to you talk.
Can everybody hear her? People
Sorry.
cannot hear.
Okay. Oh, to be vulnerable and loud at the same
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not quite a question, but it's something that arose that I wanted to share with you as you were talking about this, this comfort you take in space, holding you, and this interaction. And for me, I don't take comfort in that.
Mhm.
It's like I get it,
Mhm.
but the way, I'm working with a big letting go in my life right now, something, but the way that I feel is like I'm holding on to the lapels of God and shaking and wanting so badly for something to hold me back, and there's nothing.
Mm.
There's something that I'm learning about the profound aloneness
Mhm.
and solitude of really becoming. And it's a bit agonizing.
Mhm.
And I guess I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the paradox I think you speak of being, this is a solo journey, and the reality that we could not be separate. And that I wonder if you could actually sense the feel of the pushback that's happening all the time. In fact, the next meditation, we're going to touch on that some, but that sense that this form could not exist without God, without space, without reality. You would be a blob, right?
Yeah.
And that, so there is something always pushing, holding, touching, as well as nothing. It's a journey, sister. Anybody else before we take a break? We'll have another opportunity to speak. Okay, so we'll take about a 10-minute break. Kathy has told you you can pee out there, pee in there, pee in there. Let me get my shoes on before I leave the mudroom, and then you can come and get your shoes. Sit down. Sit down. Drop. Kathy, can you bring the mic? The amplifier? How's that? Okay. So this poignant moment that we hold like this is, there's a reason. This is kind of like life, this short little moment between the mysteries that we hold in this unknown, shaky, heartbreaking moment together. Letting go of when is the bow going to ever come, but we just sit here together in that poignancy of now, here, relaxed, open, playful, curious, loving. And then we bow. So we'll just do another short meditation where I will guide us a bit in what we've been talking about. So once again, really nestle your pelvic floor right into your cushion or your chair. Once again, making contact with the flow of your breath. And sense the outline of your body, what you think of as the boundary of your body, where the air meets your skin. And feel the space within your body. Feel the space within your belly, between your hips and your pubic bone and your sacrum and your pelvic bones. Feel the space in your mouth. And your nose. Feel and sense the space between your cells. Feel the space between your breaths especially the out breath and the in breath. Notice the space between your thoughts. Look directly at that space between your thoughts. And now sense the space right at the boundary, the space where the air meets your skin. Sensing this space all around you. Notice the space between your fingers. And sense the intimacy of how that space is forming you. Sensing your body form and yet also spacious. Letting the boundary dissolve between external and internal, just breath, just space. Sensing that you are the wave in the ocean, phenomena arising, form arising, but still you are the vast ocean. And for this short moment, let yourself just melt into that vast ocean, be held by it. Be held by the quiet stillness, that sacred, primordial, deep river of life. With a gentle, light touch on your breath. And when thoughts arise, let yourself be aware of the space between the thoughts without engaging with the content. Letting go, but forever, continuously being held. Sometimes practicing with space can feel overwhelming. So we just come back to form, feeling our pelvis, our pelvic floor up against the cushion. Feeling the breath in our low belly. Don't rush. Don't rush. Come back up. Don't rush this moment. We try to rush through life. Would you read float? Float? And would you make sure to read the author?
That one's not behind you, John. All right. This would be Rumi. Float, trust, enjoy. Muhammad said, one looks back and regrets leaving the world. Actually, Muhammad said, no one looks back and regrets leaving the world. What's regretted is how real we thought it was, how much we worried about phenomena, and how little we considered what moves through form. Why did I spend my life denying death? Death is the key to truth. When you hear lamenting like that, say, not out loud, but inwardly, what moved you then still moves you, the same energy. But you understand perfectly now that you are not essentially a body, tissue, bone, brain, and muscle. Dissolve in this clear vision. Instead of looking down at the 6 feet of road immediately ahead, look up, see both worlds, the face of the king, the ocean shaping and carrying you along. You've heard descriptions of that sea. Now float, trust, enjoy the motion.
So there's so much that I would like to say about working with death, yours and others. I'm going to say a few short things about how to be with the dying, how to be with what happens when we die, preparing for your own death, and being with those after they've died. And I mean like short things. Don't mistake these snippets for the depth that you would get from taking a course in, say, with hospice on death and dying. But these are snippets that I think are left out. And they're just a few things I want to say about each thing. How to be with the dying. If you are supporting somebody who is dying, who I hope you all get the opportunity in your life to do that, it is not your moment or your show. It does not matter how you feel. It's not your job to change their state. It is, or to be more conscious. It's not your business how or when they die. Of course, we support the container and are very supportive of their process and their choices. But we're not trying to control it or make it about us. Don't drive their process. It is their rite of passage. Your process is incredibly sacred, but this is about them. You will have time for your process. Don't be detached, be so loving and so supportive. But the most important thing when being with the dying is to be a stable, loving presence that is connected to that deep, primordial river. Drop all the spiritual fancy gobbledygook, because that's just going to fill the space. And it can really easily get in the way. Attend to the environment, the sacredness of the space. Keep interference out of the space, cell phones, but also mind states. When someone is dying, they are profoundly open. Coming from where I am right now and feeling the level of my own openness, I know how open I will become. I already ask that anybody who enters into my field take total responsibility for their mind state. Be there to listen so carefully, because such important things can come up for people at the end of their life, right at the very end. Support that, because there's something, listen so deeply, because this is a very important time for people to be able to express something that might be transforming and changing and needs to be spoken. Death is an amazing convergence of two worlds. We have to stay in not knowing. We have to stay so open to the mystery in that moment and trust this internal intuitive truth about what the moment might need. We can't go in knowing what the moment will need because we have no idea. We have to stay in that state of our own deep river, so connected to that, so that when something calls that is needed, that we move from that space, not from our egoic mind. When death is happening, it is like birth. It is that where the doorway opens into that mystery, and we have to meet the mystery as mystery. And to do that, we must have fantastic self-care. If we go beyond our limit, we are of no good. In those moments, we have to forgive. We have to forgive them, and we have to forgive ourselves. If someone's being a total ass, which they can be when they're dying, it can be super uncomfortable. Or your alcoholic, abusive father is dying, who you've hated your whole fucking life. See them as the ancient, stable layers that they are. And see yourself in that way also. And if you can't do that, turn it over to somebody else who can, and then help support them, the person who's doing that, from afar. Maybe you bring that person a meal. But to be in the face of someone who's dying, we must give them that opportunity, because that is the moment of their greatest possible transformation. And if they've been an ass their whole life, they may have the possibility to transform in that moment if given that opportunity. It's too late to not forgive them. We can talk on a soul level when someone is dying, because it is so much easier to communicate when somebody is dying on that level, because they're open to that. So we can communicate that forgiveness. Do not ever assume that someone cannot hear you when they are dying. They can. It is so helpful to know that something ends and something goes on when someone is dying. It's so important to remember to hold their dying in that framework, because then we see it as a rite of passage, and it can help with our own grief. That there is some aspect that is remaining, and some aspect that is going. Tolerate the discomfort, and when you can't, take a break. Death can be very messy. It's really important to know the map of how things can go. Often, it can be messy, and we can be incredibly uncomfortable because the organs are giving up, and so there can be a tremendous amount of liquid in the lungs and moving, and it can sound horrifying. It's a natural process. You have to know what you're in for so you don't freak, because it's odd. And a lot of weird things can happen with the skin and with twitching or eyes or face or breath. People can stop breathing for a long period of time or breathe very, very hard. Again, the most important thing is to be a warm, compassionate, loving presence in the face of that. If there's hospice, ask them, how might this look? So I can be somewhat prepared for the strangeness that we might encounter. Because dying can be scary, vulnerable, deeply transformative, and totally unknown. If you have never experienced death, it can be incredibly easy, like breathing, not breathing, that's it. But sometimes it doesn't go like that. There's a koan that says, how does Kuan Yin keep track of all her arms? Right? Kuan Yin or Avalokitesvara has thousands of arms to be compassionate to the world. How does Kuan Yin keep track of all her arms? Like adjusting a pillow in the night. Not through effort, relaxed. Be yourself. Like fluffing your pillow in the night is natural. Be yourself. What happens when we die? There's a good chance you will not have the fantasy good death. We all want to be lucid with everything complete with all of our relationships, in our 90s, healthy until we die, surrounded by loved ones with no pain. Good luck. I would like that for all of you, but clinging to that is a terrible obstacle. There is no right way to die. You might be demented, you might have an accident, you might be unconscious, you might be lucid, you might be happy. Who the hell knows? You have no idea how you will die or how much time you have left. Let go of the story of how it is supposed to be. Be neutral about that. There is a huge support out there to help us. Dying is dying. You just got to get to the other side of the river. Your death may be really shitty, but you can still work it out. We are made to die. Just like we're an animal, any other animal, there's something fundamentally understood about dying and about being born. You don't work hard to go to sleep. We don't work hard to die. I really want everybody to hear this because I think a lot of times we think we have failed or there's a failure if somebody has an accident and dies tragically. And the thing is that you don't know how it's going to go. But if there's a neutral feeling about it, and we know that the person just has to get to the other side, there's a whole lot of help there on the other side and in the process. You will be okay. They will be okay. If you have questions, we're going to come back and at the end, so hold on to them. Being with those after they have died. We abandon people all the time when they've died. We stop relating to them. And it is one of the most tragic things we can do because people who have gone through near death say, everybody just stop talking to me. Even if someone was a shit, don't abandon them. Since they don't have a body to relate from, there can be a lot of room for change, right? We're not constrained by the identification of our form. There can be tremendous room for their transformation. This is why in Buddhism we do a sukhavati. A sukhavati, and David and Heather and Matt, some of my senior students, will be holding the sukhavati for me. And the sukhavati is where we have the person's favorite food and a picture of them. And there's a whole way the ceremony goes, but at the actual time of this ritual part, we chant a certain chant that is basically saying, may you go to the pure light, may you go to the pure, may you drop the identification with the body. And so at that time, in the food, their favorite food and drink is to invite them in. And this is done within the first week, preferably 3 days. So they've been invited in, and then we burn the picture while we're chanting. So the picture of them is burned for 2 reasons. One is it allows us to let go of their form, but it allows them to disidentify with their form by some witnessing of their picture being burned. We're saying it's okay to let go of everything because everything's okay now. You're done your life. You're fantastic. Now go to the light. You don't have to keep doing this dance. In our society, memorials, because most of us don't do sukhavadis, we do memorials, and they end up being all about us. This is sad. It's very controversial in our society. But very few other cultures make it about us. They make it about the one that is dying. So it is because in Buddhism and how I want it to be, sukhavati and memorial, is the way the sukhavati is for the one dying and the memorial is for the ones left. And we combine them. And it's a time not to abandon the one that's dying. Even though we're saying, let go of your form, we're saying, we're right here supporting you all the way, and we are envisioning the right outcome That's what we're doing. Our work is to envision them the right outcome, which is that pure land, whatever that is for you. To be met by the ancestors, to be free, to be light, to be free of the small mind. So we have a celebration, and we'll talk more about what I hope to offer all of you in my own death. Preparing for your own death, I hope a lot of these talks have been about this, but you don't know when or how you're going to die. So what do you want to do with your time and your mind and your heart? I would suggest forgiving, loving, repair everything that needs to be repaired between you and others. Let go of regrets, and don't be surprised by your own death. Find your own relationship with death as an ally and as a friend. Do the work now, personify it, see it as a being or as energy, and make a relationship with it. It's essential to do that so that it doesn't become an enemy of resistance, something you're trying to avoid, but actually something that walks on your left shoulder. If you are cluttered with attachments to regrets, disappointments, failures, successes, what could have been, the shoulds, then you're actually not free and available for the process of the mysterious to happen. I have seen people struggle at death because of those attachments, really struggle. I have seen people whose energy could not leave their body once they were dead because they struggled so much with that. So in life and in death, don't miss your life by being in the regret and the shoulds and the wishes I had and the failures, disappointments. See what it's like to be so open that if you're on like a carousel and you come back around to an open door, you just go through it. There's something about if we're closed into that attachment to the struggle, we will miss our life and we will miss our death. Does that make sense? Tending our grief. We encounter so many losses every day as a human being. The death of a beloved, a divorce, the loss of ecosystems, the changing climate, the breaking apart of our society. But most of us know our deepest loss is when a loved one dies. That sort of incomprehensible loss. But as I said before, there is an intimacy between grief and aliveness. Some sacred exchange between what seems totally unbearable and incomprehensible and what is exquisitely alive in us. But to face this and to face all the losses of our lives, we need ways to honor the grief, the soul of our lives. We need community to do that, and I beg of you to lean in on one another to help bring each other home. We live in a grief and death denying and phobic culture. And both of those have been pushed into the shadow with all the other things that we've denied in our life. We forget and we go numb in 1,000 different ways, and you all have your own ways that you go numb, and I go numb. We go numb because we forget that we are so not separate. We're so intricately connected in this web of existence. We forget the deep spiritual river that is underneath all of us, that I would say is the spiritual calling. We forget that there is something so much greater than this little loop. We haven't had a new thought since kindergarten, guys. That's like the same fucking loop. And we think that's it. And we have to remember that there's so much more, so much bigger. And that we are so one with that. We couldn't be not that. We're God and drag, right? Like, we could not be that. I think the reason why we numb out so much is because we have a fundamental dissatisfaction, and of course we do, because we've lost the rich connection to our soul and to a soulful life. Something's going on here, sweetie. And I think the reason why that is, I'm gonna wait till this, are we going? It's been blinking out the whole time. You let me know when we're good to go. I'll just admire my dog while we're waiting. He's such a good boy. Ready? So what I was saying was, we've lost our connection, and I think the reason we've lost our connection to the soulful life is because we've lost our connection to death. And thus to our grief and to our joy, because they are so intimately connected to one another. We cannot have access to our joy if we have not fully been able to access our grief. I think we forget that we are intimately connected to the wildness of nature. That we are the coyotes howl in the meadow. That we are the bolt of lightning in the summer storm. And many of us have given up our undomesticated wildness for a life of numbed out dullness because we are afraid to actually feel our life. We have to face our own deaths to find that wildness once more, and it seems paradoxical. So this is what these talks have been for. To support you in remembering, to support you in your waking up and unnumbing. My hope is that it has been a help to help you face it, all of it, your death, your life, your loss, your love, your pain, your beauty, your awe, your wonder, and everything in between. I hope that these talks can help you go beyond the small egoic mind and that you can find your wildness. I want you to live fully and to die fully, to be more curious than afraid. So may you feel your life and celebrate and turn fully into the wind. Live so fully that your dying is just another wave. Your life arises, it passes. Your death arises, it passes. But the ocean remains unchanged. We have to feel the depths of our human experience and our grief in particular, because it's so often what we want to avoid. And it's our broken heart that allows us to love so deeply and so fully. Let your hearts break. Trogam Trungpa talked about the broken heart of sadness, and that it was that bound us to the world. Love. And everybody has to find out what that means to you. Because I can say love, and there are 70 ideas about what that means. But find out what that is in the non-attached love, but love that is just the ocean. If there's anything I hope that my death helps you with, is living your wholeness. Eat your life. Eat your death. Chew it. Engage it. Feel it. Dance it. Do art. Love your people. Make messes. You will make a mess of this life, I promise. Open your heart. Cry, laugh. Be in the mystery of the mess. It will never be okay. In that, there's something so freeing. You're never going to get it right. You're going to get it perfect. You may get word when I'm actually in the process of dying, or you may get it after. If you get it when I am, then I ask you to practice from afar with me. If after, help me cross. Remind me to go for the light. And let all the rest go. And then come celebrate and mourn and grieve and sing and laugh with my body. I would like all of you to come so that you see death. See death. See me dead. See you dead. See your beloveds dead. It's not so scary. What a crazy journey. I'm going to have David read the third poem, and then we're going to open it up for discussion.
This is Hafiz. I heard God laughing, deepening the wonder. Death is a favor to us, but our scales have lost their balance. The impermanence of the body should give us great clarity, deepening the wonder in our senses and eyes of this mysterious existence we share and are surely just traveling through. If I were in the tavern tonight, Hafiz would call for drinks. And as the master poured, I would be reminded that all I know of life and myself is that we are just a mid-air flight of golden wine between his pitcher and his cup. If I were in the tavern tonight, I would buy freely for everyone in the world, because our marriage with the cruel beauty of space and time cannot endure very long. Death is a favor to us, but our minds have lost their balance. The miraculous existence and impermanence of form always makes the illumined ones laugh and sing.
So before we close this tavern, it's time for you to share, to ask questions, to wonder.
Yo. I was a serial Dharma practitioner for many decades, sat in many sanghas with many teachers. Most of all have dissolved for reasons
Can you hear?
we don't need to get into. And I'm just struck at the crazy beautiful people here and the clarity and brilliance and love that really marks this last in-person Dharma talk, which is a tribute to how well you have danced at every level.
Thank you.
And I hope that you can receive our love for you.
Thank you.
And how grateful we are for all you've given.
Thank you.
Yeah. You've danced so elegantly while never getting rid of your freak flag.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I realize, thank you. We probably should give this, in case that's not working, when we pass this. Good save.
I do professionally injure myself. Louder. The crutches are handy in case I need them. You said something about a memorial being for those who are grieving, and the
Sukhavati.
Sukhavati being for the deceased. And now we're a little bit in between, maybe, right? You know that your end is near. But in the spirit of what Nataraja said, I want to take a moment personally, and maybe on behalf of many of us here, to let you know the impact that being around you, studying with you, playing with you, witnessing you has had on myself and so many people that I know in the Sangha. You are so honest and brave, to the edge of being brutal in a way that we all need to hear, but we all fear asking for. And the greatest gifts that you've given to me were the ability for me to look at my own fear and to free myself, maybe temporarily, to some degree. And I am such a better human being for my experiences with you. And I want to thank you. And I want you to really just feel the love that I want to give you in the way that you and I always share. You've changed my life. And therefore changed all the lives of the people that I interact with. Love you.
May that be the last two. Thank you, Mother. We can have more questions, but I don't know how much I can hold of that. Thank you so much. John has something.
I imagine that all over the world, there are people who are coming to enlightenment in every culture, in every neighborhood, in every barrio. And that's how we're going to make it through. This needle we have to go through to survive this transition collectively. And that's reassuring to know that's true. That there are people everywhere, not just in our little bubbles. And then you say that there's this outrageous grief that we have to feel. That's, most of us can't do that very often. If that's the key to enlightenment, to be able to let the outrageousness, suffering of life blow us open and bring us to this new place. Is that possible? Is that possible that all over the world people can do that? I'm afraid. I'm afraid maybe it's not.
We can only begin with ourselves and keep just letting people see that we survive. That's the best we can do, because I do believe that as a society, it looks pretty shitty, but I actually think that there's all of nature is going towards waking up. It's just a process. And it's going to be painful in our lifetime, and for a few lifetimes probably. But my sense is that all that we can do is to do our work right here and to love the people around us and to help them love the people around them and around them. More than anything, we want to feel loved. And then we feel safe to feel what is so hard to feel. You want to say something? And hold both of them up to your face.
I just couldn't let the last thing I said be what I said, because I mean, I'm very emotional, but I just want to say that I love you. And thank you for dying with us.
Anytime. The least I could do. Oh, I realized that I'm not good.
Ooh, man, this is hard. I think I just have to ask a student question, because this may be the, I feel like this is the appropriate time. And I don't want to bug you over email or any other time. Ooh. Yeah, I'm really loud. My question is really basic. It's not even emotional. I'm just emotional. So I think certain people are attracted to you because we can hear you. And certainly personally, like in a self-serving way, I'm like forever indebted. So like my basic student question is kind of without your voice and without you being here, like where to turn, you know what I mean? I know. I mean, and I'm good friends, I'm friends with the people, but in terms of like who you would pick, like, it's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. I gotta pick up a book. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that there's poetry in like Pema and certain people. I mean, it's a basic question.
It's
but
a great
but
question,
serious.
sure.
Like,
Yeah, it's a
life
great
is
question.
hard.
Yeah. So maybe I should get the little one back at least.
I mean, I'll send you an email about my sentimental stuff.
There's so much I could say about it's not me. You know, it's not me. Sure, it's coming out of this voice, but I really want to remind you, all of you, but I'm saying this to you. You have everything you need. You have it all. You're so complete. Find the things that remind you to go to the deep, primordial, ancient river in you, because you've got it. So that the attachment to having another voice speak it to you, even though it is profoundly helpful, know that inside of you so deeply that when you're in your most scared, lost place, access that through feeling the feeling you're trying to avoid. And you will know right where to go again. When I wake up in the middle of the night and I go, what the fuck? Like, you gotta be kidding me. I don't have that much more time here. I find the place that wants to skirt away and is in that feeling of like empty. But then I penetrate the experience of the lost. And I find that I am being held so deeply by that experience. And that deep river is always right there. I just have to surrender and stop fucking fighting. Because that part of us that just wants to fight, that says, this isn't the right way, there's got to be someone who's going to be the golden word, and I'm going to be okay. They will for a second, but the work has to come from you. And I say that to all of us, then we call our friend who's in the Sangha, whoever, and say, help me remember myself. Help me remember myself. And if they're wise enough, they will say, what is your experience right now? And how can I hold you in that? How can I hold you in your confusion, in your lostness, in your loneliness, and in your despair? And to not abandon you in that. Does that make sense? Make it so simple. Make the pathway so simple so it's not complex. So we don't go, I don't know what to do. We have the Dharma, we are the Dharma. And there are so many wonderful books out there, and there are hundreds of my teachings that you can listen to remind you that you could put on at 3 a.m. God help you. But seriously, or listen to these talks again, you know, and to know that I'm never that far away. I'm going to come back and haunt you, Renee. Yeah. It's a great question for all of us. Anything else? Yep. So hang on. You're going to have to come over. No, we have to record it and take that and then bring it back. I'm going with you here, so don't pull it.
If you had found out that this was your fate in your 20s, what would be different?
If this was my belief and faith,
If you knew that you were going to
oh, my fate. Yeah, okay. Did you all get that? If I had known this was my fate in my 20s, I wouldn't have believed it. And I wouldn't have changed a thing because I was too hard-headed like all of you. Serious. So no regrets. No regrets. I'm too tough, just like everybody else. I wouldn't have believed because in my 20s, 60s would have seen a million years. Still trying to grow up and be not so identified, but I was seriously identified just like all of you. Trying to learn and trying to grow and not believing that there would be a day when I would actually die. So I don't think I would have changed a whole lot. But it's a great question for all of you, because you all are going to die. Make it simple what you do differently. Make it super simple. Repair, forgive, no regrets. Live the life that you're living. Live the life that you're living. This is such an important thing. We live as if there was some other life we wish we had. Live the life you're living and love it. Eat it. Celebrate it. Grieve that it's not perfect.
I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. Being so close to you in this moment. Your life, your clarity, your brilliance, like it's just like the energy of it. What is it like for you? Like it's like, this is, like how do you hold this moment? And can you share this moment? Like what you feel and what you're experiencing. It's just, yeah.
Like this moment?
This moment, yeah.
Like love. That's it. Is it time to end? Oh, we have someone back. Okay, you're next.
Hi, Tor.
Hi.
You and I have talked about
The other one, two. Ah, yeah. Yeah.
You and I have talked about the love of fur child and you. Those of us who have not had children, and you have your Bodhi. And I'm just curious where you are with this process of
your physical body leaving and with him.
Do people hear that? Definitely the hardest place because of my most attachment. And I'm going to really try hard to not cry because that one is, I have never, he has taught me to love so freely and to be loved back so unconditionally. Just have to let go. There's nothing else. And I believe he will be a psychopomp. He will be a being that will help me cross spiritually. And so I think he will go with me and then stay in form, but he will help me cross. And when I'm freed up, I won't need that. What I have realized in the work, and this is, I think, important for all of us, is that there will be those things that feel so profoundly hard that we don't know if we can do it. And those are the things that I think we have to just feel the profundity of the grief and the desire to hold on. And then you have to turn around and walk away and don't look back. And you have to know that you can survive the pain of the separation. You have to trust that with your whole being that you will survive that. And I know I will survive that. And I know I can. I want to feel I want to feel blessed for the time I had with him and with you. Okay, we've got two more and then we're going to wrap it at 12:30.
Well, first, I just want to say how grateful. I want to say how grateful I am to have found my way from New Mexico here for this series of teachings, and how deeply generous I feel like it is to have shared your process in the way that you have, and how I feel that has allowed me to feel more generous, and I think all of us, but I really thank you for that. And I just want to ask if you could speak to one other thing, which is I have found this so helpful in thinking about my own dying and the dying of loved ones close to me. But is there anything different you feel from where you sit about how we face our collective world unraveling in terms of climate and like that dying? Is there anything that you would say in that, how to sit with that is different?
Well, you probably won't like what I have to say, but I have to say it's a relief to be leaving right now. The part that I'm not relieved about is I have a lot of curiosity about what will happen, a tremendous amount. I trust life so much, and I trust this earth, that we're making a mess of things. But I trust the outcome. It will look so different, and it's going to be so hard, but I trust the outcome. And I feel deeply involved, and also very much neutral and observing with the witness. And I think that part has become much bigger. So I feel a sense of separation, like I'm watching an unraveling of something that will be very difficult, but the outcome will be, there will be an evolution that we don't know yet, but that everything is waking up. And I believe that. And it may be thousands of years. But that's part of dying, is that time changes. The relief is because there's a part of me that felt so much like I had to change it somehow. And instead that's released. And it's more just an observing with a sense of grief and wonder and awe at how we function as humanity. It's fascinating, and we're destroying ourselves. And it's more that I have that curiosity. Thank you. One more, and then we're going to wrap it up.
First off, the magnitude of my love for you is kind of overwhelming.
Thank you.
It's a little bit hard to calibrate, and for this community, pretty big. So thank you. My question has to do with, I have a curiosity about your relationship with your ancestors. I recall your relationship, speaking about your relationship with your mother and others, and I'm curious how that has informed you in this process.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
I have asked often if I am in good relationship with my ancestors, if there's any repair that has to happen there. And all I know is I'm not getting a yes, that there needs to be anything. I get more that it will resolve whatever is troubled in the lineage. I'm not getting held up by it. I feel as though our ancestors, in some form, whether it's just energetically, help us in our crossing. I also feel that there are some ancestors that are not reincarnated, that they actually remain as an energy in the universe that is just, they've taken their place, is stable. And this is, there's some way that I feel that we have the possibilities when we die. We either take rainbow body because all of our karma's burned up, good luck. Or there's a period of time before that energy, if energies need to create, the energy that is unresolved takes a new form, so reincarnation in some way. And I think that there also is a place that's some kind of hangout for a while. It's not them, but it's the energy. And I can already feel the ones that have passed close right now. As a form of like being, there's a waiting. And I'm just curious. That's about all I can say. Yeah, thank you. Ah, gosh, really don't feel like wrapping this one up. But I have some feeling that we will meet in some form. I won't be far away. I hope that I have been of use. That is my biggest desire for this life, is to have been of service. Serve the world. Somehow we need each other. We can't do this alone. Love, we have to learn how to love this so fully, more than you can imagine, so that that love can come freely to the rest of the world. You all are gonna do fine. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. And keep talking to me after I die. And I think that just like prayer of any kind, and believe me, I pray a lot, in the process of prayer, in the process of asking me a question, or a calling a beloved in, just in the asking, we will know the answer. So call me in, and you will know the answer. I'm not ringing the gong. because this retreat will never end. Come on, Bodhi.
This is hard to talk about after. She's a very hard act to follow, especially when I am talking about Donna, something that there is no, these teachings are priceless. Everything that we have gotten from her is priceless. There's no cost for this. It's, this is about generosity. This is about reciprocating the generosity that Tori has given us for decades. Decades. She has given her life to this work and her life to us, and she continues to, and will continue to until her life is gone. And what we give to her in return should be from the heart. This is, Donna is a heart space. It comes from the heart. It is, it's an opportunity to express our love in this way. This is how Tori sustains herself. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, this is sustenance for her. And she's just only going to need more at this point. So I ask you to give from your heart what feels comfortable for you, what feels generous to you. Maybe you could give a little more. Maybe you could just reach a little deeper and open your heart up a little more. I will be here to take donations in cash, or you all have her GoFundMe site. You can use that. And I am sure that, I trust that you all will hear from me again with information about future teachings from her. They probably won't be in this form, but I know that she's still with us, and she'll still want, she will want us to be with her in this form. So thank you all for coming. I'm so sorry that the close to 100 people were supposed to be on Zoom today, and they're not. So I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. Anyway, thank you all for coming.